Okay, since we do have a quorum, we will go ahead and get started. First of all, have the proper meeting notice been given?
Yes.
Okay, great. Let me go ahead and do roll call.
Mario Escobar,
Here,
Kevin Mitchell, Jim Schneewise, Amanda DeVries Sabia,
Here.
Karen Daniels, Andrea Bierman,
Here.
Dr. Jane Winkler Philbrook, Danny Gurley, Laura Flores,
Here.
Ashley Williamson, Sarah Lynch,
Here.
Samuel Simmons Senior, Angel Ferrara, Shea Lockett,
Present.
Vincent Bellacci,
here.
Wendy Green,
Here.
Nicole Marlowe, I'm present.
Okay. The agenda has been presented to the board for review. Any consideration for adoption?
Move to adopt as presented.
Okay,
Amanda, I second.
we have a second. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose?
Aye.
Okay. Motion is carried. Okay. Approve of the previous meeting, the minutes.
Move to approve Jane Philbrook.
Okay. Second,
Andrew Bierman, second.
okay. Second, all right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Oppose? No. Okay, motion carried. Okay. At this time, do we have any visitors among us that want to speak? No?
There's someone that is in the queue. Hold on a second.
I'm sorry, what was that?
There's someone that's in the, on the attendees. It just says Slim. Are you here to speak for, at the meeting?
Okay, do we have, I can't see, do we have a name?
Sorry, that is Ashley. This is Ashley Williamson. I'm trying to change that. I might leave and come back in.
I will just add you as a panelist. That's fine. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we have no visitors then, so at this time, yes, we have no old business to report. No. Okay, next on the agenda, any new business to report? I see none. Okay, we'll go right into other business and we'll go to a staff's agenda. Shaya?
Thank you. I do have a few updates from the Recreation Division. First off, I would like to start by saying, last month I promised that we would have the report of the numbers of participants in all of our programs. As you roll out new programs and new initiatives, sometimes you run into hiccups, so I do not have those numbers. We had to work through some technical difficulties with staff and making sure everyone was reporting correctly. We think it's very important that when we do bring it back and report out, that we have accurate numbers for the board to review. So I did want to update, and we are continuing to work on that, and we'll bring forth that information. The next thing I would like to report on is our registration for fall sports is currently open. We have 3 sports that we are offering in the fall: flag football, volleyball, and soccer. Both volleyball and soccer are $20. It's a $20 registration fee. And then flag football is a $30 registration fee. And that fee is higher because the participants do get an NFL branded jersey with that registration, and it allows us to cover the cost of that jersey. The registration is open until, ooh, I just lost it. I don't think it's on here. Seasons, I will say it's around August the 30th that the registration will close. It will close towards the end of August, and I'll provide an update because I don't see it on the flyer. And the soccer is played at Sporting Fields, Compass Minerals, as well as flag football. And then youth volleyball is played at Joe Amayo Argentine Community Center. And our staff at Beatrice, all of our staff at all of our community centers do help oversee these sports. The fall is one of those times where the sports are outdoors. So that's why you don't see sports at every single community center. I do know that's a question that has been posed to us, but those staff help oversee flag football, which does not take place in a community center, and soccer. And then we also want to remind everyone that we have our 10th annual Christmas in July on July 20th at Wyandotte County Lake. This is our unofficial holiday here in Wyandotte County. There's activities, games, and fireworks. It's a good time for the entire family. And new this year, we will have a glow party with one of the DJs providing that as we await the fireworks on that day. So if you're available, the fishing derby begins at 5 p.m. and fireworks are usually around 9:30 once it's dark enough for them to launch those fireworks off. And
Question on that. So if somebody decides to work and help out, you got your big fans going, right?
we do.
Okay.
We try.
Benny's laughing at. Well,
It is usually rather warm, but we do have a few vendors that come out and sell ice cream and different things like that. There's water slides for the kids, so it's a great opportunity for the community to come together and enjoy the lake.
thanks, Shay.
You're welcome. And the final thing I would like to announce for recreation updates is, well, really is for department. July is Parks and Recreation Month. And if you follow us on Facebook, we put out a series of different activities that we are having through the community centers. And I apologize, this isn't in your packet tonight, but the 11th is National Swimming Day, so we are encouraging people to go to Parkwood and swim for $1. The 12th, we're having an event at Armadale Community Center, which is just an outdoor, a fun summer evening with yard games. We have our night hoops program going on, Christmas in July, encouraging people to stop by City Park to visit our co-ed softball league. On National Ice Cream Day, we are encouraging everyone to go to Eisenhower Recreation Center, which is July 23rd. And I will send this out afterwards to get a cup of vanilla ice cream. And then National Dog Photography Day is July 26th. So there's St. John's Park where you can go and snap a picture of your dog. And then National Soccer Day is July 28th. And we are encouraging parents to register their youth for our youth soccer league. So this information can be found on our Facebook page, and we will also share this flyer as well. But we do want to recognize that July is Parks and Rec Month, and this year's theme is Where You Belong. So we try to provide various activities of different interests for our community. And that is all I have for right now.
Okay, does anybody have any questions on that?
Even though, Shay, you're not having to deal with the golf tournament that the Parks Foundation is doing, Thank you for handing this out. And I'm guessing that you guys have it, I haven't looked, that you have it on your Facebook page.
We do.
Okay, that's great, because that'll be helpful. Because with revenue neutral, I think we're gonna be needing to be making more money to give to Parks and Rec. So I'm just encouraging people to get involved, either be a donor of money or get together some teams and go out and enjoy yourselves. Because it's gonna be September the 13th, and so that's Friday, September the 13th, which I know, oh no, bad luck. No, good luck. It means you're gonna do really, really good out there. So I just want to encourage people to be part of this. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is Vince.
Thank you. As always, if I ever have bad news, I will start with that first. So I'm gonna have Matt pass this around. I just got some pictures of examples of some vandalism that we experienced in the past week. A lot of it was due to fireworks, and restrooms were the victims. So Alvey restrooms, both sides of that, toilets and sinks exploded. Reagan restrooms, the same thing. The sign going into Pearson was destroyed by a large firework as well. Then we had some graffiti last week.
All the restrooms that were destroyed by the fireworks.
Yes.
I can't believe that. I also didn't realize my mic was on.
Last week, our maintenance team painted the sign at Northrop Park, and I believe it was this morning that was graffitied. St. Margaret's, we had the ribbon cutting there last couple weeks ago for the new trail, and we had painted the shelter and restrooms there that also got graffitied. Call Point Park had a lot of graffiti as well. Then the last thing as far as damage would be over the weekend, Quindaro, the playground there got hit by a car. So we are awaiting an inspection of that. The playground's currently closed, so we're looking to see what we need to do as far as repairs there. Now for some good news. St. Margaret's, again, the ribbon cutting event a couple weeks ago was a great success. So the trail there is open. It's the concrete trail with rubber surfacing. So if you haven't been by there, I would encourage you to. It's a very nice trail. Clam Park, we have the projects there underway. So the 2 basketball courts, 8 pickleball courts, and 3 tennis courts. All of those have been, the concrete's been poured, and progress is continuing on those. Kensington Park, the basketball court has also been poured there. We're anticipating both of those to be complete by August. Clopper Trail, Angel and I were out there earlier this week. That trail has all been poured. It's going to be an 8-foot wide, 1/3 of a mile trail, and you have a map in your packet of that. That's also going to be concrete with the rubber surfacing, so that's going to be great for that area as well. Jersey Creek, we're just waiting on JT to provide a timeline of when he's going to be painting that mural that was presented to Park Board, I believe, last month or the month before. The last thing would be Boston Daniels Phase 2, which is the flat work grading and the shelter. That bid should be going out next week, so that will push that project along at Boston Daniels.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? No? Okay. We'll move on to Angel, but I guess Shay,
Yep.
you.
I do have an update that
Okay,
kind of falls under Angels.
okay,
Angel did ask that we inform the park board of the Unified Governments Board of Commissioners voted on June 27th to remain revenue neutral. So that means that 8 million will need to be cut from the city's budget and roughly 10 million will need to be cut from the county. We have been tasked as staff to propose budget cuts in the amounts of 5% and 10%. This is definitely something that we've been working through, and our team has worked through this over the last several days as the decision to go revenue neutral has expedited the budget process. Another directive or direct impact from this currently is that all vacant positions from the unified government are currently frozen. Our department is down 17 full-time positions and 2 part-time positions, and we have roughly between 95 and 100 full-time employees. So that's about an 18% vacancy rate in our department. And there are significant impacts that could come from that, potential impacts to the department. The reduction in services as it relates to operations, things such as mowing, maintenance, deferred maintenance will continue to grow. There will also be potentially a reduction and or elimination of services for the community, programming, facility usages, and then our capital improvement funding will also be limited. And our ability to apply for and seek grants is also going to be a challenge because most grants require a match from the local government. It's not just Parks and Recreation's budget, it is the unified government budget as a whole. The Parks and Recreation Department is funded both through city and county, so we are required to look at both funds. There is a meeting, a commission meeting this Thursday on July 11th at 7 p.m. And there will be a public hearing regarding this matter. And it's really important that the park board is informed and able to advocate for the Parks and Recreation Department. We do know that generally when budget cuts come in question, Parks is easy department to look at, as it is not always considered an essential service, but a luxury. But we do know the importance of parks in our community as they relate to health and wellness, and recreational activities. So we wanted to share that with the park board. Matt could probably provide a little more information, but this is all fresh and staff is currently working on it. But we felt it was important that the park board was made aware that there will be a reduction in services.
Yeah, go ahead. Sarah, I see your hand.
Sarah Lynch at large. One, did you say that meeting was this Friday? And two, who gets the say in how much we get cut?
So I'll let Matt, the meeting is this Thursday at 7 p.m. And basically revenue neutral means that we collect the same amount of property taxes that we collected this year. And so the administrator is required to submit a balanced budget based on the amount of property taxes that were collected.
And it's really loud.
So then is the administrator then asking that we get cut this much? Also, are we allowed to raise our own funds?
Sarah, to answer the first part of your question, it will be the commission who approves the final budget. So it's just staff's role all the way up to the commissioner to propose a budget to the commission based upon the revenue neutral rate. So with that said, we as staff certainly appreciate your continued advocacy to your commissioners and anything that you can tell them just about how important parks and recreation programming are to you. Helps us serve, it helps us get the most money possible to serve the community. So that's, to answer your question, that's definitely something that's decided on by the commission.
Okay, and are we as Parks and Rec allowed to raise our own funds, as in fundraise for our department?
So this is Shaya. There is the Wyandotte County Parks Foundation, whose mission is to support the Parks and Recreation Department. So there is an opportunity to work with the foundation to provide and raise additional funds. However, we as staff cannot raise additional funds for the department, but that is what the foundation is created for.
Okay, so-
This is,
Go ahead.
this is Dr. Philbrook. I want to address that comment too. And that is that's why that group was formed, because they saw the people who were very pro for Parks and Rec knew that we needed additional funding to help with our parks and activities. And therefore, that was created. That's why if something's going on and somebody wants to raise some money or whatever, they usually put it into Parks Foundation, so then Parks Foundation can contribute that money to Parks and Rec. That's the legal way to do it. That's, is that right, Wendy?
Yep, that's correct. That's a great way to put it.
Go ahead.
Mm.
This is Ashley. Who manages the foundation? Is there and how would we get into contact with them? And two, by Thursday, you mean tomorrow? And are we would letters to our commissioners is kind of the advice on how we can be heard?
This is Wendy
I
Green
was about to ask
with Legal
the same
Department.
question about,
Yeah. So there's kind of two different things you could do. You could do, tomorrow night is just the open, we kind of all call it the open mic night, but it's public comment. And it's just an open period at the beginning of the commission meeting where the public is allowed to make comments about pretty much anything that they think the commission needs to hear. So that would be when you could make any comments that you felt the commission needs to hear if you want to address the parks needs and your support for the parks. But at any time before a budget is adopted, you could write your commissioner and let them know that you think that the parks needs to be supported and that any cuts to the parks would be detrimental.
Okay.
You can make it easy on yourself. This is Dr. Philbrook, and just email them with your letter.
Right, yeah.
Because that's going to get to them. If they'll open their
Exactly.
email, then, that's the way to do it.
Yes.
so Sarah Lynch again, circling back to the foundation, how do we pull them on board? Because I feel like now more than ever, we're going to need their support and we're going to need their involvement here. Because even in the event that we do convince the commissioners to at least maintain what we have, it's still not going to be enough. We're still going to need more support to be able to offer our services and to keep expanding.
Well, I would suggest that you contact administration with Parks and Rec and ask them for the email address or the website. I think you'll probably do better by getting on the website and taking a look at the website, and it has a list of the people that are on the board, and it has an email for them, so you can send information to them.
Thanks, Jen.
And also does the Park Foundation, do they have a separate board as well, or do we know?
The Park Foundation is a separate entity, licensed
Okay.
by the state. We have our own corporation. And we have a board, and we have to follow all the federal laws and regulations for a not-for-profit.
Mhm. then could we even ask them to be there to help support us as well? Do we know? Wendy?
We could reach out, but again, the Thursday night, it's just the open mic public comment. So they could go to that, but there's also going to be more meetings for the public to have public hearings on the budget process. So tomorrow night's not the only time. But yes, we could have, see if the Parks Department or somebody could reach out to the foundation as well.
There's a meeting next week with the foundation, and so we can talk about it then.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, anything else from Matt? You or Shea?
I'm just happy to answer any other questions.
I think one thing I would add to close out this revenue neutral thing is, I think it's important to note this isn't like temporary cuts. This is permanent. As long as we are revenue neutral, we're gonna be experiencing these cuts. So we're not tasked with finding temporary cuts. This is permanent, and we've been tasked with proposing 5 and 10% cuts. So for our department, 5% cut is 750,000 and a 10% cut is roughly 1.5 million. So definitely significant either way.
Okay, thanks.
Chairman,
Yes.
can I ask Wendy something? So in the big scheme of things, as Vincent mentioned, there is, this is a permanent thing. And so how does that get changed? How does it go back to not being, revenue neutral? What are the steps for that?
So next year, during the budget process, the county would again have to, the commission would again have to decide on whether or not they want to exceed the revenue neutral rate. They have to do that every year. But what the government, what the departments are being told is that if this is the path that the commission is choosing to go on for its budgetary process, then they have to think about these cuts as not being temporary. They need to think about them as being permanent.
Thank you. I
Mhm.
wanted that cleared up.
Yep, no
So
problem.
nobody else has to vote on anything. It's just the commission?
The commission votes to whether or not to exceed the revenue neutral rate, and that is what happened at the last commission meeting. Now, each of the different taxing sub-entities, so all of the school districts, the community college, they all also have to vote on whether or not to exceed the revenue neutral rate, and they also have their own mill levies. So whether or not the city and county exceeds it is one thing, but those other entities have to make those decisions as well.
So the UG is not making decisions for them. That's
Correct. They have to
strictly
make those on
their own mill levies. And so, even though the UG is less than half of the cost for housing, in other words, the taxes, they'd only be affecting half of that mill levy cost for everybody. Is that what I'm understanding?
Correct.
I mean, because unless the other entities decide to cut their mill levies or go revenue neutral. Okay, got it.
about right.
That's
Okay.
the hard part, like if anybody else decides not to go revenue neutral, like the school district, like the community college, property taxes are still gonna go up. And there's really nothing the UG can
Mhm.
physically do about that.
And again, it won't be maybe because they raised their mill levies, it's because values. If your value goes up, when your tax percentage stayed the same and all mill levies stayed the same, your taxes will still be increased because your value. So,
Thank you.
Mhm.
Clarity is always nice.
Okay. Anything on this particular item? No? Okay, do we have any other reports? Angel at all? Okay.
No.
Okay. With that then, and we'll go to the board members' question and comments. I'll go down the list here. Amanda, do you have any questions or comments to make?
I will say that I've walked by the track at Clopper Field, and it is really coming together nicely. And I've had a lot of comments from the community about how excited they are and how they're planning to use it as soon as it's available. So I think it's going to be a really nice asset to the community.
Okay, thank you. Next I have, Andrea.
I don't have anything at this time.
None? Okay. Okay, Dr. Philbrook? Okay,
Yeah, it's hard for me not to get a little upset with revenue neutral. I mean, I've been paying taxes a long time. Lived here all my life, so, but the revenue neutral thing, we have made, we meaning the whole UG has made a lot of strides in getting things taken care of that they hadn't been able to take care of because they were addressing it in a very organized manner. And that's also to be said for parks and rec. Been making up for lost time because we underfunded Parks and Rec and expected them to do everything, but they didn't have half the funding that they needed. So now we're going to go to revenue neutral and bite ourselves in the foot again and start going backwards. So I'm really frustrated with this. That's what I have to say.
I second that.
good. All righty, Laura? Okay. Ashley?
Nothing, thank you.
Okay. And next I have Sarah.
I just want to say, I can definitely understand the frustration and it is palpable. I think ultimately revenue neutral is going to be good for the people in the long run, but right now it is difficult. I definitely, since I've gotten here, I've always advocated to try to find grants or try to find some other way to try to fund our ventures because we are a necessary department, whether or not people recognize that. I even wonder if there's anyone beyond the foundation that we can go to for funding or try to source that. But I feel like now's more than ever is a time for us to maybe try to become more self-sufficient, if that's a thing.
Okay, thanks. Thanks for your input. I show a hand up there, but I can't make, oh, okay. All right, then, I don't have anything myself, whatever, to add, other than I'm like you, frustrated now what's happening with that, so, but anyway, we'll see what happens. Okay, with that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Commissioner.
This is Dr. Philbrook. I move for adjournment, please.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay,
Second. Oh,
all righty.
third.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? No? Okay, meeting's adjourned. Thank you.